Hello, hello, hello. Ms Legalista here, aka Attorney Sheila. I have not done a live in a long time. I have been thinking about doing some in the evening, but things have just gotten busy. I don't know if you have been following Blac Chyna and her new path that she's been going on. I think most of the time these things sort of catch our attention because it's so different from maybe what someone was doing before. But I think there's a whole lot more to this. And she talked to some extent about this in a recent Forbes interview, video interview. And this also appeared in a Business Insider article. So I'm going to pop over there because I do want to talk about this article just for a little bit. She is not somebody that I really followed. I know that there was some involvement there with the Ron Kardashian, I guess that's his name. But she was not somebody I ever knew, ever followed, knew anything about her at all. But let's pull this up and let's go through this article and see if we can sort of break some things down here in terms of what was going on with her. And I'm going to scroll back up here. And for some reason, this was like the India version or something. I don't know what was going on. Oops. Well, that wasn't a good thing. All right, trying to get rid of that ad up there, but I guess it's not quite going anywhere. And it might help if I put on my glasses. But anyway, she's going back to her birth name, which is Angela White. So she's going back to that name. And she has recently undergone breast and butt implant reduction surgeries. Now, I do recall seeing some of the pictures, and yes, it was kind of obvious that she had implants, but she's gotten rid of some of that. She's gotten rid of some of these facial fillers. And in this article, she really talks about this part about changing her life and changing her ways. And part of that, part of this path was going back to her birth name. So I wanted to talk a little bit too about name changes because people do that sometimes. You know, they go back and say, hey, something has happened here. I want to change my name. Think about the Rock, for instance, used to be a professional wrestler, went by the name The Rock. And of course, there's this whole persona that comes with a name like that. And so now he's going by Dwayne Johnson and he's become an actor and he's sort of switched things up. So, this sort of name change and lifestyle change can be a way of moving in an entirely different direction. And I'm happy for her. I'm glad that she did this in a public way because a lot of times, celebrities don't actually let us know all of the consequences and how difficult it can be to go through all of these surgeries, to have these things removed, and to figure it all out. In this interview, she didn't even sound like she knew everything that she felt about it. I've got a couple comments here. And Lisa says, I seen she was getting tattoos taken off, but I don't know for sure. Yeah, I didn't really see a whole lot about the tattoos. She didn't really talk about those a whole lot in that particular part of the article that I was looking at. I know she said that she was sort of going down this spiritual path and she had started working out. She said it was working out, sobriety, and her Bible. And she said she was actually on that path for like 7 months. And I totally agree with you. So I didn't really know her before. Like I knew who she was, but I didn't really follow her. And she did. I will totally agree with you. She looked peaceful and calm in the two interviews that I actually reviewed and listened to her talk. If you only read the media about her, I was left with a very different impression of her before seeing her actually speak and talk about this path that she was on. I didn't really know who she was except for maybe what I had read about her. And it wasn't necessarily good because it was all tied to her relationship with the Kardashians. And so to see her sitting down in the interview and having the conversation, she looked so at peace with who she was. It was really nice to see. And she sounded like she was grounded and very down to earth. So it was just nice to sort of see that. I don't know how familiar you were with her, if you had followed her, smiling, it was a good look. It was very much a good look. And sometimes that can really happen when you have people who are more in touch with where it is they want to go. Like I said, she talked a little bit about, and me taking on my glasses to read comments and then taking them back off the talk. But she talked about being just Angela White at home. And when she's all glammed up and dressed up and needing to go out somewhere, then of course she's Blac Chyna. But it's the same sort of thing with The Rock. Like I said before, and he was going by The Rock, and then he changed his name. And then you have even people who don't necessarily change their name, but just maybe change what they're doing. Someone like Will Smith, who was more into music and rapping and then acting on a television show and then ultimately going to the big screen. Even though we say, well, he was still an actor, but going from TV to the big screen is a bit different. You usually get a big bump up in your check, more opportunities to make more money. So one of the things that the interviewer asked her in the article was, she said, your family has gotten used to a certain lifestyle. They're used to a certain amount of money coming in and being able to do certain things. The interviewer asked her, so what is this path going to look like going forward? How are you going to be able to sustain that? And her answer was really, she didn't she did, to be honest, she didn't have a very specific plan. So for instance, she didn't say, well, here are 5 projects that I'm working on. I'm working with my agent on this. I got this going on with this business and that business that I have. She mentioned none of that in the clip that I saw. What she talked about was, she said, well, I'm just sort of trusting in faith. I have a feeling that it will all work out. And so, that was how it sounded to me with what she was actually saying. She just seemed so calm and so peaceful and so comfortable with where she was. And like I said, she talked about this 7-month path of sobriety and working out. And it sounds like she's really found her space. And like I said, the name piece being part of that. And other people have done that too. Like I said, um, Dwayne Johnson has been one of those people who have done that. But here's the thing, I think that she is truly going to be okay. Because here's the thing, if you're appearing in a Forbes video and a Business Insider article, you're probably going to do all right. It's not like she was in some rinky dink article somewhere that nobody's ever heard of. No, I have a feeling that there will be some very large brands that will be a little bit more interested in her because she looks more like someone now who more people can relate to. And therefore, since even more people can relate to her lifestyle now, then I think that makes her even more of a commodity, even more value. There's even more value there that other brands may see. The thing for her is she'll probably now be a little bit choosier. Before, she may have taken whatever just for the money. I don't know. But it sounds like she will likely be a little bit more choosy. She will be choosier, and that she will probably have her pick when it comes to who she wants to work with and how she wants to work with them. It sounds like she's just going in a totally different direction. And some people, like I said before, some people go the legal route of actually changing their names after divorce or just wanting to start fresh. Or a lot of reasons people change their names is because it's related to something else that they want to separate themselves from. So that's another reason. And there are a few steps that you typically have to jump through. It's not like it's just going to be this, I'm just going to change my name. If you're going to do it legally, your state usually has requirements that you have to follow. So maybe fingerprinting, you may have to have a background, a criminal check. But yeah, let's see what else we have here. All right, I got a really good vibe from her. It was like a peaceful person finally. Yeah, so and let me mention that too, because one of the things that I remember from when she was with, I guess it's Rob Kardashian, there just seemed to be a lot of drama. That's the only thing that I remember from that, was that there appeared to be all this drama that was constantly going on. I don't know how much of that was just reality TV show scripted to look like it was what their lifestyle was or something to build ratings, you know how that really works. But it just didn't seem like there was a whole lot of good news coming out of that. It always just seemed like it was just, I don't know, negative press. So I don't know. This compared to that, I'm sure she feels a whole lot better about that. But I think she is going to be, doing a whole lot more now. And, this whole thing about working out and sobriety, again, this offers a new opportunity for her to be able to pursue other business opportunities. So we will see how it goes. But she has said that she has had, I know she said she had shots in her rear, but she's gotten rear implants removed, breast implants removed, facial fillers gone. And yeah, I did not know about the tattoos. So it sounds like she's going to get rid of the tattoos too. And before, one of the things I noticed was, of course, like she said, she was always all glammed up, but she's actually a very pretty person without all of that on. When you see her without all of that on, she's gorgeous. So it speaks to this sort of idea that people have to do all those surgeries and stuff, and they don't necessarily. But I'm happy for her. For anyone who wants to go that route, they're certainly welcome to have whatever surgeries they want to have. I am a scaredy cat, so I don't know that I would ever be doing much of any of that. But yeah, let's see if I can get rid of that. All right, so let me go back over to the article to see what else it says here. Scroll down. There's some pictures on her Instagram. I think because she, that was one of the things they talked about in the interview, how she just shared what was going on. She said, so sometimes I would kind of like forget who I am because it's always about the brand, the brand, the brand, and not the person. Again, when you're all glammed up and you've gone through all of these surgeries, I can imagine that it would feel a little different. And you want to, how do you go back and find who you were or who this new person is that you're going to be? She said, I think now it's more the separation of it, like if I'm performing or things like that. If I'm at home and I'm with the kids, or if I'm doing business stuff and I'm doing deals, that's Angela. Now, if she goes out and it's glam and hair and nails and makeup and she's got costumes, then that's her different person. It's almost like you hear Beyonce talk about Sasha Fierce. I've got the stage persona and then I've got the home me that my family and my kids know. So here's the part where she talks about the working out and the sobriety and her Bible. And she said that's what she's been sticking with for 7 months. And so a lot of times people are working on these things in the background. Like you don't see them. All of a sudden they just pop up one day and they're just different. And you're just like, wait, what happened? And it almost looks this way with this because all of a sudden it's like she put some stuff on her Instagram. Yes, I'm getting this stuff done. And yes, I've been working out. And now I've got interviews with Business Insider and Forbes all of a sudden. But behind the scenes, she has been doing the work for a while. And like I said, at some point, she made that decision to go back to her birth name too. So she says she's been sticking with it for the past 7 months. See, that's when people are working behind the scenes and you never see what's going on. And it says just over that time, it has shown me like, okay, who are you? What is it that you want to do? What is the example that you want to set? That's the other thing. When you have children in a house, you do realize that they're looking at what you're doing. And yeah, sometimes we start to say, well, I don't know if I really want to do that. She said that while she was anxious to make the changes at first, the support she has received from her fans has made her realize she is making the right decisions. I totally agree with that. Sometimes it's difficult when you are in this position in a public space and you're wondering whether or not people are going to still accept you as you have made these changes in your life, because you're like, well, they always knew me as that. Will it be okay for me now? Will they like me or still work with me, still, accept me in this new version, which really is the old version, right? It's the original version, is the version I was born as. And they're wondering, hey, will people still accept me after I've had all of the butt fillers removed and the implants and the breast reduction and that sort of thing? And Lisa, yeah, she's more pretty natural. I totally agree. I think she looks great. I think she looks absolutely great. And the thing about it is she's still young too. I mean, she's still got a lot of life left where she can do whatever she wants to do. And like I said before, I think her value just went through the roof. I really do. Working with Forbes, working with Business Insider, yeah, because they're Forbes is not just going to be doing a video with just anybody. I just don't see that happening. They see the potential here too, and they recognized it. They got a scoop here. They're having a conversation with her and doing this video and getting this sit down one on one. Oh yeah, how many people have gone to their website and shared that, and gone to Business Insider and shared that? So yeah, I think and I never remember to turn my phone off. Yeah. So I think this is a good thing. And I think that it would be nice if more people would be upfront and share more information like this. Now, I had spoken to someone a while back who I had hoped would do a video with me about a breast reduction that that person had. That person does not necessarily want to come on camera. So I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get that person on camera. But this was a person who had naturally large breasts. So this was not a person who had implants. This person just had naturally large breasts. And the weight and how the straps would just dig into her shoulders. So I never understood why people would want to then have very large breasts after knowing what some people are going through just normally. And this person just talked about how you'd see these deep ridges in her shoulders and just the forward weight that she was constantly carrying it. And then how difficult it was sometimes to find clothing that would fit, that she could wear in a professional setting. And then also, if she wanted to exercise, sometimes how uncomfortable that would be. So I was trying to get her on camera to talk about her experience. And I'm telling you, she was like, when she had her reduction, she was just like, oh my gosh, I wish I had done this sooner. This is great. She was just so happy about it. And I told her, I said, you really should consider just talking to people about it and letting people, you know, ask questions and just hear about your experience. But she's still a little hesitant. She's not an in front of the camera kind of person. So she's just like, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. We'll have to see about that. But yeah, I do agree with you. I think, Lisa, I definitely think that she looks happier. She seems more friendly. I mean, and just calm and peaceful. And I said this before, just her whole demeanor seemed like she was coming from a place of happiness and not the drama that I'd heard about from her with her prior relationship. But yeah, so you guys let me know your thoughts. If you have been following this and heard about her changing her name, changing her life. Oh, and there was also the part where I think she was baptized. I saw that. It looked like it was in a pool or something like that. She was baptized, and that was part of her spiritual journey too. So she has definitely been doing quite a bit with this. So let's see. Lisa says maybe have her own, but don't show her face. I know, right? Tell her, okay, you can come on and you'll sit off camera, or I don't know, you could put something up or something like that. Or it could just be call in. She could just do a call in and talk about it. She doesn't even have to be on camera. But I think people do want to know more about that. And there was a person that I followed um, on YouTube who had implants. There were actually two people that I followed. One was a little bit older than me, um, and one was a lot younger than me. And both of them had had implants. And the older one had her implants taken out, and she was like, "Oh, I love how I look." She said, "I thought I was going to look bad because I'm older." And she said, "No." She said they were taken out, and she said that she looked great. And then the younger one said she wasn't sure whether or not she was going to replace hers or keep them out. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I just don't know where that came from. Somebody shared something with me. I should not be looking at that while I'm trying to do a live, right? But yeah, so the older woman had hers taken out, and she thought she was not going to like her body. That was one of the things she said. I didn't know she had implants, but how would I know, Usually she's on camera like this, so I'm never going to know she has implants, right? But she said she took the implants out, and she looked at her body and she was like, "Oh my God, I actually look good." And she was, it's not like she was overweight or underweight. She had a very average size about her, so I'm not sure why she thought she would look bad, but she was I think thinking that she was going to look bad because she had had them in for so long. And I didn't realize, there's a certain amount of time, you either have to take the things out or replace them or something. So that was what she did. She just took them out. She said, "I'm done. I'm not going to worry about them anymore. It's too much trouble to have to, come back 10 years and remove them again. And you also have to worry about whether your body's going to have a reaction to it." She was just like, "I'm done." The younger woman um, went through hers, and she went ahead and just got a whole new set. So she was like, "Well, the old one's got to go. There's been some sort of recall or something like that. So I got to get rid of them. And now I'm just going to get a new set." And that's what her decision was to do. So it's always interesting because it wasn't a small set, they were very large. So the person who I know who was doing just the breast reduction from natural breasts, she was delighted. She was totally delighted about going down to a size that she could manage. So it's one of those things that, it's always an individual choice. But yeah, so let's see. Lisa said, I heard today, yes, that she was baptized. So yeah, it looked like it was in a pool. Maybe she had gotten baptized in a pool, and she had made some sort of comment about, maybe that was on her Instagram. She made some sort of comment about um, about seeing the spirit come from out of her or something like that. And somebody made a comment back and said, "No, that was really just the chlorine." I don't know. But yeah, that's what happened with that. So she looks really good. I even like the outfit that she was wearing. She just looked, I don't know, she just looked happy and peaceful. But yeah, so I just wanted to come on and talk about that for a little bit, talk about what she had going on with that. And then, like I said before, legal name changes. People change up all the time. And especially in that industry, it can be a way for them to stay relevant, because otherwise, especially in your, remember I mentioned The Rock at the very beginning and him switching over to acting. I can't imagine that he would want to have continued to do wrestling for the rest of his life. Like, that is a very physical job. That's a very physical activity. And so for him to say, okay, at some point in time, I can't keep doing this to my body. I got to switch it up. And the other thing is, I don't know. Sometimes it seems like people can can move on And when they move on to someone else, and it's not still you. And so unless you're doing something different and following new opportunities, you might get left behind. And I can think of a few actors now. I can think of a few musicians now. You haven't heard from them in years. I have no idea what they're doing. They have completely gone off the chart. I never hear anything about them, don't follow them or anything like that. And so sometimes it can be good to sort of reinvent yourself and figure out what the next thing is. It's the same thing the rest of us do in life. But yeah, so that's sort of it. Just wanted to come on and talk about her in this article that she um, did with Business Insider and the video with, let's see, who was it? Forbes, I guess it was. Seeing as how I can't go back over. Yeah, with Business Insider. So yeah, definitely go check it out if you haven't checked it out already. The video is a little long. Whoops. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. The video is a little long. It's almost 30 minutes. So there's a lot of information there. And here was the one piece that I thought was interesting too in this video. The interviewer asked her, um, why. And she said it in such a way like she led into it like there must have been this reason why. Like what happened? What happened? It was the way she said it. Like, what was this thing that must have happened to you that made you like change your life and go in a different direction? And, a lot of times we think that that sort of thing has to happen before we say, oh, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to switch. Oh, I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to, go on this path. I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to start doing whatever. And she said it wasn't any one big thing. It's not like, you know, she had a life-changing moment. People say, oh, well, I had this life-changing moment. I had a heart attack or I got into a really bad car accident and had to go through therapy. And all of a sudden I started thinking about what I wanted my life to be. No, it didn't sound like it was anything like that. So when this interviewer was going, what happened? It was like, tell us, what was the thing? There was no thing. She just decided she wanted to change her life. That literally was it. Like I said, check out the video and you will hear her say that. It just wasn't this flash of lightning that said, girl, you got to do things different. It just didn't happen. But that's it. Yeah, let me know if you've been checking this out. And an avatar would be good. That's another way of being able to bring somebody on screen without them showing their faces there. Yep. All right. Well, thank you for sticking around with me, Lisa, and everyone else as we've been looking into this and talking about her. And it'll be interesting to see what is going to happen with her next. Like I said before, I think her value just went up. I really do. I think you see that with the Forbes, you see that with Business Insider. But don't forget to like the video if this has given you more information about name changes, Blac Chyna, taking new paths and new directions and all that. And don't forget to subscribe. All right. Peace.